Hello FPL managers and welcome to this week's YouTube video, a video where I'm going to show you how I plan to use my transfers, no chips, to navigate between game weeks 25, the double game week, all the way through to the blank game week in 29, where we also have blanks and doubles to navigate in between there as well. So let's get into it. Right, FPL Manager, I thought I'd just start this video by going through the double and blank game week schedule just to add a bit of context to the video and just to remind us what is going on. So game week 25 is the double game week for Man City, Brentford, Liverpool and Luton, a week where I plan to use my triple captain. Then game week 26 is the blank game week where Liverpool, Luton, Chelsea and Tottenham all don't play because of the Carabao Cup final. Crucially, Liverpool and Luton double in game week 25, then blanking in 26, which makes things tricky. Game week 27 is a normal game week. Then game week 28 is that small double for rearranged fixture of Bournemouth and Luton. Game week 29, this is the tricky one. This is the big blank game week. So far, we've only got knowledge that Tottenham, Burnley, Fulham, Brentford, West Ham and Aston Villa are going to play in this game week. There might be one or two more, depending on how the FA Cup results go. So we will know before the game week 27 deadline what the situation is in game week 29. This is the week where I plan to dead end my team into game week 29 and then I'll wild card out of it in game week 30 or 31, depending on how things are looking at the time. So let's get into how my team is currently looking in game week 25. And do you know what? It's not looking too bad. We've got 4 double game week players in here. And I think between 4 to 6 is probably going to be what you're going to see in most teams in terms of the number of double game week players that people will have. So I've got 3 Man City. So you'll see I've got Foden, KDB and Haaland. So I'm really happy with that Man City 3. I do believe that is the best Man City 3, going for the high upside picks rather than trying to chase those clean sheets in, which have been difficult so far this season. And I've got 1 double game week player from Liverpool in Diogo Jota. Now, I am a bit concerned about going for Liverpool assets because of rotation. I don't really know who's going to play in the front line. They've got the Carabao Cup fixture final coming up as well a few days after the Luton game, so there could be rotation. Feels like there's a lot of minutes risk going with these Liverpool assets. So with all that being said, let's have a look at the transfers that I'm looking to make. So these are the 2 transfers that I'm looking to make, and I'm looking to take a -4. So -4s are probably going to be the theme of this video, but I'm trying to take them at the right time so I can make a return on the investment of taking that -4 hits. You'll see that as we kind of go through the video. So I plan to bring in 2 Brentford players, actually. So not that glamorous, but what is good about Brentford is I've got the safety net. I know that they are going to play in game week 29, which is a huge bonus further down the line. It won't give me a headache when we get there as such. So they have got tricky fixtures this week against Liverpool and Man City, so maybe we're not expecting the biggest of returns, but I'm hoping the fact that they're going to be the players that like to play the more minutes, that they might still manage to get some decent points. So starting off, I'm looking to bring in Reguilon for Porro. Now, I was looking at taking out Porro anyway, but the fact that Porro might be injured for this weekend kind of confirms to me that I definitely need to get rid of him, particularly with the fact that Porro would blank in game week 26 anyway. For me, it was between bringing in Reguilon and Doty. Now, Doty, I do believe, has the better double game week this week, and probably the better underlying data in terms of attacking output as well. But Luton not playing in game week 26 and not guaranteed to play in 29 at this point. It just feels that Reguilon is the safer bet to go for. We are seeing that he is on the corners Reguilon, and he's also playing an attacking wing-back role, so I'm hopeful of some lucky attacking returns somewhere. We will see Doty appearing in this team in game week 28. If you have got Doty, I still think he's a great pick. It's just not someone that I'll be looking to buy this week with the impending blank game week in 26 coming up in my current team situation. So the other player that I'm looking to bring in is Ivan Toney. Again, because he plays in all the blank game weeks, but I prefer to take the gamble on Toney because of the fact that I'm sure that he's going to play all of the minutes in the double game week. You're probably going to get, including injury time, up to 200 minutes of Ivan Toney, where I feel that Darwin's minutes could be limited with the competition for places. Salah is coming back to fitness, and also, as I mentioned, with that Carabao Cup final a few days after the Luton fixtures, we may well see heavy rotation from Jurgen Klopp. If you've got these players, great, I'd be happy with them in my team, but I don't think I'm in a position where I'm happy to buy these players as such. But obviously, you wouldn't sell them if you had them. So as I said, Toney does have some difficult fixtures, but I do feel like he does have some good routes to points with the fact that he's on the penalties and the direct free kicks. His underlying data has been good, even though he's had a tricky start to the season with his fixtures since he's come back from his ban. So he's got a similar attacking data you'll see here to someone like Ollie Watkins, both at 0.48 XG per 90. And that's also similar to someone like Solanke too. So this is, we've been very happy with Solanke and Watkins in our team. So I feel like Toney is just as good a replacement for these players. Okay, so now let's move on to blank game week 26. So just a reminder, this is the week where we've got no games for Liverpool, Luton, Chelsea and Spurs. And I'm confident I can get 11 players out this week by using no more than one free transfer. There is a chance I could get 11 players out without making a transfer at all, but that depends on the fitness of Gahey and Taylor. Taylor's looking more likely than Gahey that he's going to be available to play. I have also got Botman on the bench as well, but it's a bit annoying. I don't really want to play him way to Arsenal because I don't expect him to get many points, but hey, if he gets 1 point, then fine. He is better than nothing, isn't it? So I'll bring Botman into the team. Now, the transfer that I want to make again is with that blank game week 29 in mind, and the player that I want to bring in is an Aston Villa player. The main target that I'm currently looking for is Douglas Luiz due to his good fixtures coming up and with him being on the penalties. However, there is a bit of an issue here. So Kamara has got injured for Aston Villa, so I want to be watching. He's the one that plays the deeper midfield role, so I want to be watching in game week 25 the kind of position that Luiz is taking up. Because if he's playing in a deeper role, I'm not sure I actually want him in my team. So that's something I'll be keeping an eye on. I might actually look to bring in Jacob Ramsey, a player that has done very well for me historically in FPL before, or maybe even a West Ham player, because they also play in blank game week 29. I had concerns over West Ham's form recently, with it's mainly been probably driven by injuries. So, but maybe Bowen or Kudus could be an option, but I think I wouldn't want either of these players unless we knew that Paqueta was definitely back and available. West Ham do have a good run of games up to the blank game week in 29, but just because I think if we trust Aston Villa a bit more, that's why my preference is to go for someone like Douglas Luiz. So it's looking like all things to plan. I'll take out Jota, bring in Douglas Luiz, and I'll hopefully have 12 players available to me in the blank game week in 26. Okay, so now let's move on to game week 27, another week where I would look to take another -4. So I feel like this is a good week to maybe shift off a Man City asset to bring in one of Spurs, because, well, Spurs got that guaranteed fixture in game week 29, but Man City have a run of games from this point onwards where they play Man United, Liverpool, and then they blank. So having a triple up on Man City feels a bit overload when you consider those fixtures coming up, particularly when you got a factor in any Pep roulette too. So I think that is a good chance to get off one or two Man City assets in your teams. And crucially, Spurs play Crystal Palace in this game week, which feels a good week to attack. It feels a good week to attack from a Spurs assets point of view. So taking a -4 on two Spurs assets feels like a week where you could well get a profit on that return. So that's why I look to take a -4 in this week. So I would look to take out Foden and then bring in Son. Now, obviously, if it looks like KDB is not going to get the minutes, then maybe I'll do Son instead of KDB, etc. So that's a bit flexible. But generally speaking, I'm looking to take out Foden and bring in Son. KDB quite off because they are big games. I do expect KDB to actually start and get the minutes, and I do think he's the better asset when he starts to Foden. So that's the reason why I've got rid of Foden for Son. As things stands. But as mentioned, it's a good attacking fixtures for Spurs. So it also then feels the right time to take out Gahey in my team because he's very likely to blank in game week 29 as well. To then bring in another Spurs player. Currently, I'm thinking of bringing in Udogie. He's cheaper, a bit of a differential. Make sure I've got some funds if I need them in the team, or if my plans change, I need some extra funds to get Salah, anything like that. So, but it could easily be Porro as well. So I've not ruled out it being Porro or Udogie. Now, both of these players are currently doubts, injured, so maybe it would be neither of these players, and the plans will have to change. But this would be an opportunity where I'd look to bring in a attacking Spurs defender, if I can do, if they're fit and available. So I don't plan to do this. I don't plan to carry 2 free transfers into game week 27. But if you're in a position where you feel you're comfortable and you can, this could actually be a really good play because before the game week 27 deadline, we will know who's going to blank in game week 29. So you could make 2 free transfers to help get yourself in a better position for game week 29. Maybe even make 3 transfers, almost like a mini wild card, and only take a -4 for 3 transfers. Okay, then moving on to the double game week in 28. So this is a double game week for Luton and Bournemouth. So it looks like I'm going to have probably 2 double game week players, which I think I'm happy with in this double. So I'll always take a -4 hit to get a Luton player in. This is only if they have a confirmed fixture in game week 29. They are the team that's looking the most likely to have a confirmed fixture out of anyone else in game week 29. So fingers crossed that that's what will happen. And then it feels like taking a -4 in this game week to sort of pay off that hit in the double and then in the blank. It kind of feels a good time to bring in Luton assets. So based on that, I would look to take out Botman, who would be very likely to blank in game week 29, and then to bring in Doty, who I mentioned earlier, who's got good attacking data. We've seen him get so many assists. He's one of the top for crosses into the box too. So this definitely feels like there's a chance for attacking returns against Crystal Palace and Bournemouth in this double game week for Doty. And then the other transfer that I would look to do is to bring in Solanke for the double game week. Now, he will be the obvious captaincy pick in this week, so I can't go without Solanke. And I will actually look to bring him in for Erling Haaland. Now, this is because Erling Haaland will probably very likely blank in game week 29. So I'll probably get 2 fixtures for Solanke now rather than 1 difficult fixture for Haaland away to Liverpool and then a blank. So that is why I'll be getting rid of Haaland for Solanke. And then when a wildcard, Haaland will obviously be coming straight back in. It is worrying me a bit how much value I'm going to lose in Haaland, because I did get back on him quite early when he was coming back to fitness again. So I have made quite a few price rises, but that's something that I'll have to tackle because I will need Haaland back in the team. But I also can't go without Solanke, and I can't take out Watkins or Tony as well because they all play in the blank game week in 29. So those are all the things that are going on in my head. So in game week 28, I'm pretty happy with this team. There's some good single game week fixtures. It's a bit annoying that teams are likely going to have lots of Aston Villa and Spurs players playing against each other. But if you can maybe focus your teams around the attacking assets, I do feel like that would be a week where there would be lots of goals between Aston Villa and Spurs. But overall, I think the team would be looking quite good in game week 28. Okay, so then finally on to the blank game week 29 itself. So this is the week where I'm hoping to have at least 9 players, depending on the teams that will end up with fixtures. I've highlighted in red the fixtures that are not guaranteed to play, but are looking likely to play. So it's looking like the fixture between Forest and Luton would go ahead. But that obviously depend on how the FA Cup results go. Again, I'll look to take a -4. It does not scare me because essentially I'm taking out a player that is going to not play for a player that is going to play. So only 1 attacking return between the players that I'm looking to bring in would probably mean that I'd be in profit for that -4. So I am absolutely fine with doing that in that situation. The 2 players that I've got my eye on to bring in would be Maddison. I feel like a triple Spurs is going to be essential for this game week. It could be Richarlison, but Maddison, well, we'll have to see who's looking like he's most likely going to play. But for me, I think it'll be Maddison. Very interested to see what happens with Richarlison with Son back in the team. So it'll be one of those 2 players. At the moment, I've got it here on Maddison. It'd be either or. And the other transfer looking to do would be to bring in Awani against Luton, which feels like a good fixture for him. Doherty would be there basically just for the attacking return potential, so I don't think they'd keep a clean sheet in that fixture to Nottingham Forest. But Awani's a player that I've really liked. Every time I've had him in my team, he's had a fantastic goal record, and I think this could be a good differential in a blank game week to bring in someone like Awani. His underlying data is good as expected. Goals per 90 at 0.43, which again is very similar. You'll see here to like the Watkins, Tony, etc. He's a very streaky player as well. So once he gets going with the goals. So hopefully we see him in a good bit of form leading up to this blank game week, and he'd be a player that I would absolutely love to have in my team. So yeah, it's looking like I'll have 11 players with just a few -4s in the blank game week in 29. Weirdly, there's no West Ham players in here, but as I said, that could change depending on how I feel with Douglas Luiz, or if the fixtures between Doty and Awani don't happen, then I could also look to bring in West Ham assets instead, because at the end of the day, I could take out Saka in this game week and bring in Kudus or Bowen, etc. There's many different options depending on how things are going, but hopefully you can sort of see how I plan to structure my -4s and my transfer sort of general thinking throughout the game weeks leading up to the blank game week. So I hope you found this video useful. Drop a like if you did, and get in the comments with anything that you want to discuss. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck with your future game weeks, FPL managers. Thank you for watching.